Have you ever wondered why your best server or cook suddenly leaves and what that actually costs your restaurant? What if the cost is more than just monetary? And to be clear, I'm not talking about subpar performers. I'm talking about team members who are good at their jobs. Hey there, Restaurant Pro. This is Dave Scott Peters, restaurant expert, coach, and creator of the Restaurant Prosperity Formula. And today I'm going to talk about the real cost of losing staff. Picture this. Sarah, a talented line cook in a popular downtown restaurant. She decides, to quit unexpectedly. The owner, John, thinks, I can easily replace her. But what he doesn't realize is that Sarah's departure sets off a chain reaction, lower morale among the staffs, decline in the food quality, and eventually a drop in customer satisfaction. Let's explore the hidden costs of this kind of turnover and how you can turn this challenge into an opportunity. What are the hidden costs of turnover? Well, to start off, it's really talking about loss of institutional knowledge. That's a really big one. What do I mean by institutional knowledge? Well, there's one thing you can't teach in the restaurant business, and that's experience. Especially experience in any particular restaurant. Experiencing of what a rush is like. What to do when your burners go out during service. Or how to handle a really crazy holiday weekend. There's just a few examples. Those things can't be taught in a manual. Sure, we can systemize a lot of it. We can teach them our system, our process, our way, make sure they're as prepared as possible. But nothing truly replaces experience. Now, there are training costs involved, and of course, training for new hires is expensive. 20 years ago is when I first started coaching restaurant owners and their managers. The estimate for turnover was about $2,000 per employee. Today, it's changed. Studies like the one done by the Society of Human Resource Management, what they did, it was called Human Capital Benchmarking Report. Well, they showed the real cost of turnover today. And those costs range from trainee wages, trainer wages, uniforms, product errors, service errors, insurance, and much more. Today, now the average is $4,129 per new hire. That's more than double what it was 20 years ago. So financially, it's expensive when you lose somebody and have to bring somebody else in. How about the decrease in productivity and even team morale? When you lose a seasoned team member, it might take two people to fill in their roles. You know, that well-trained cook that literally can handle 2-3 stations. So on a slower day, you only need 2 cooks on the line, not 4, not 3. The fact that, they've done their job over and over and over again for so long. The process in doing their job has become second nature, much faster. That's where experience comes in. We can teach somebody to cook a dish, but to do it quickly, multitask, know where everything is, the hot and the cold spaces are on your grill and so on. That's experience. And as they experience it, they just get faster and faster and faster, and we get more efficient. So a loss like that is going to be felt. And when a good team member leaves abruptly, and I mean a good team member, it can damage morale too. Because all the other employees that are still working there, their jobs just got harder. They lost a key team member. Often they're losing a friend. And there's a good chance, there's a bigger issue, something underlying in your restaurant that's truly affecting how that employee felt that left you and how your current employees still feel about your restaurant. What are some of the reasons employees leave in the first place? Well, because their job right with you has limitations, meaning limited advancement opportunities, can often be a factor that people want to move on. Now, I get it. While many of your restaurant employees, they don't want opportunities for advancement. Like today in their lives, they don't want to become a manager. They just want to do their job. They just want to get through the day. Many of your employees still want to know that there's a future with your restaurant. If they decide this is what they want to do with their work life, that if I'm here, I've got an opportunity at some point in time when I'm ready for it. A big one is a poor work environment. When all of a sudden the job is so stressful, you've lack of support because there's poor management, walking around like people are just, get it done, get it done. Often there's a Gen Xer like myself that hasn't learned that you can't yell at people. That you've got to support them. You've got to make sure they feel engaged in your business, that they're part of something bigger. It's becoming an employer of choice, pay, supervision, advancement, all the things we talk about here on this channel. Sometimes They just get a better offer. And a better offer may be making more money and getting benefits. Or maybe it's the first two reasons we talked about, right? There's no opportunity for advancement. They've got a poor work environment in your restaurant. And they were going to search out a better environment to work in. So remember how I started with the example about Sarah and John. What if John could have retained Sarah by addressing her concerns? What could John, or for you for that matter, what could you have done to keep Sarah? Well, you could have established and maintained open communication channels. In most cases, management doesn't even know that there's any concerns or challenges with any of the team members until it's too late. Like, I can tell you that I've had discussion with owner after owner after an owner, how they've lost somebody. And then they realize afterwards that, well, they lost somebody because their bus schedule changed. They couldn't come to work. Not one manager knew that. Are you treating your people like a number, or are we truly getting to know them? A part of what a manager needs to do is find out what's unique in each individual, push that button, get the most out of them. They've got to relate with their people, know what's going on in their lives. That when stress comes into the restaurant, often it's from home, they can help them deal with it because it affects work. You get the picture. You need to conduct regular training and development programs for your team members, especially those who want to grow. Those are often the people that are looking for those things. The people who don't want to grow, they're not going to join in on that. But for those people who truly want to make a difference, to grow in the business, they're going to thrive with that. See, walking the circle every day, doing the same thing over and over and again can get mind-numbing. I loved when I was a bartender, but I can't imagine today still being a bartender. I wanted more in my life. That doesn't mean that if somebody is my age and is still bartending, there's anything wrong with that. Again, each team member on their own path. But if I don't offer these opportunities for growth, for learning, then the good people that do want that, they're not going to stay. See, when team members are encouraged to learn and try new things, you make the job more enriching. And that side effects of this is fantastic, from increased efficiencies to a boost in morale, better guest experience, and maybe even developing your restaurant's next manager. And finally, making your team members feel appreciated, as I talked about a second ago, is really, really important in today's day and age. That's the new buzzword. Well, I want you to get a book. In the book, The 5 Languages of Appreciation in the Workplace by Gary Chapman and Paul White, a must-read for every restaurant owner and their managers, they remind us that the goal of appreciation is not making your employees feel good, like you. The real goal is to make sure your employees are engaged. The real goal is engagement, that they feel like they're a part of something bigger, that there's opportunity for growth, advancement, that they're learning every day, that they're important to the mission of your business, not just the number. I highly recommend you get that book. So the next time you shrug off an employee's departure as just another hiring opportunity, think again. Again, I'm not talking about the subpar employee, I'm talking about the good employee. The true cost of turnover is a web of interconnected challenges that can pull your restaurant down. But it's also an opportunity, a chance to reassess your hiring processes, your training processes, your management, to reevaluate everything that you do in your business, to look truly at yourself and say, am I making sure my employees feel engaged, a part of this? Are we an employer of choice? And an opportunity to rebuild a stronger, more resilient team. The question isn't whether you can afford to keep your employees. It's whether you cannot afford not to. Make the right choice. Turn those hidden costs of turnover into, visible gains for your restaurant. The choice is yours. Be sure to join me live every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific time on YouTube, travel schedule permitting, where I'll get you pumped about the upcoming weekend, get you excited about crushing your goals and finding the motivation to be best you possible. Plus, I'll answer your burning questions live.